Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, the meeting of the Hubbardston Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at www.hubbardstonma.us. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording transcript or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible. Oof.
Very good, thank you. This meeting is being recorded. And if we could have the board introduce themselves, please. I'm Rick Green, Chairman. Kayla?
I'm Kayla Larson.
Tom Larson.
Rich Clapham.
Nice, thank you for joining us, Rich.
Yep.
All right, the agenda for tonight, it's public hearing. I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing for an RDA. Filed by Damon Schmidt. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 All right, so we will start by saying the Hubbardston Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act for request for determination filed by Damon Schmidt of 69 Gardner Road, Hubbardston, Mass, for installation of a 6-foot chain link fence which abuts the wetlands. So Damon, do you want to just discuss what you're doing for the public here?
Damon, you're on mute.
You hear me all right? Is that better?
That's better.
Thanks. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I was looking to get approval to put in a fence around the property that is within, 100% within the open field that's there. There are wetlands on the property that are separated on the other side of the stone wall. So basically, we don't think that we're going to be causing any, harm to any wetlands or will be anywhere, on any wetlands. So we're hoping to put the fence in without having to go with an NOI.
All right. Tony and I walked the site. Basically, it's a hayfield that's been growing over slowly and been opened up again. Didn't see any big problems while we're out there, but I'd like to ask the board if there's any board has any questions about what he is doing and shown on the plan first.
I don't have any questions. It looks like there's appropriate silt fence. The edge of wetlands and buffer zones are shown appropriately on the plan. Fence is not within the 50-foot buffer.
Rich, do you have any concerns or questions?
I'm just looking at it now. No, that should be fine.
It is a 6-foot chain link fence, right, Damon? Is that it?
Yeah, it was either going to be 6 or 8. We were kind of on the fence about it. We are going to be coming back to you guys eventually for a fence that's inside of this fence. Possibly later, if we are moving forward, which we think we are with our the marijuana aspect of our property. But for now, it's either a 6 or 8 foot fence. It's in that, in that exact position.
All right, Tom, did you have any questions or concerns?
I think at the last meeting, I think that was addressed as was it an exemption that fencing was, as I remember?
I think that's what we discussed.
We did discuss that.
Is there any public comment on this? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make a motion.
You want a second on that?
Yes. All in favor? Aye.
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 So at this point, we make a motion for a negative determination. Is that correct? Board members,
Yes.
do we have a motion for that?
I'll make a
I'll
motion.
make a motion for that.
Okay, second,
Okay.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, that concludes our public hearing. Damon.
All right, thank you. What do, I just have a quick question if you guys don't mind. Like, what are my next steps? Is there like another step with me, or do I just kind of continue to the building inspector?
So you've already applied for your building permit, correct?
Yep.
I think I've seen it come through. So what will happen is when we get into the office tomorrow, I'll just let him know that you're good to go.
All right.
And then I'll fill out a form that needs to be signed by the board members, and you'll get a copy of all that for your records.
All right. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you in a couple months within possible NOI. So, all right. Bye.
Take care, Damon.
Bye, you too.
All right, thank you. All right, next agenda item is what, Mallory?
Review minutes from 9/1. I sent those out today. I was having
Right.
some issues.
I have it right here, yes.
Awesome.
Has everyone had a chance to look at those minutes that were printed or published today?
I looked at them. I don't have any comments.
I have no comments either.
Oh, looks good to me.
Tom, you still here?
Oh. Yep, he's still there.
All right, if we have no comments, I entertain a motion to accept the minutes as read, as written.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 The next order of business is the Hale Road house construction or plan on Hale Road extension.
Is there an attachment for that?
Yeah, it should have come through. If not, I can try and resend
Oh.
it.
I see it.
Okay.
Yes, there is.
Oh, we just lost Tom.
All right, Ed Blanchard, who is with us tonight, has sent a letter on the 14th of September following a site visit by Tony and I to a small lot at the Hale Road extension and Flag Road corner of those two roads. And the site looked, while it's small, it looked like it was set up. At the time, we didn't have a plan. We have a sketch right here that shows relative location of a house, a driveway, etc. And a
Where
setback
that,
to a
where
drain.
where that drainage area is there, Rick, that pool is up right there.
Yeah.
Which way is the drainage going?
It goes across, the water runs across the road from that lot
It goes
into that culvert.
towards the north, yeah.
Yeah, it pulls up where his drainage area is.
Yeah, and I believe that's
Typically, we have. Sorry about that, Rick. Typically, we have a septic design approved that shows us the location. We're assuming that.
Where'd he go?
boy, sometime we can have a real meeting and sit around the table.
Oh gosh,
I missed that.
for the days.
That's funny.
Yeah, is this the preliminary perk test that's going to Board of Health? Is there anything? We don't have an NOI or an RDA or anything for us yet, right?
No. Ed's interest was to get, and Mr. Aho, who is the builder, to get like a preliminary approval so he could go get a building permit or go to continue the process.
Do
Do you want to add anything to this? Ed, can you hear me?
Yes, we'd like to move forward. We've measured all of the distances from the where the septic design will be, as well as the house, as well as where the well will be, and we feel that we meet all of the setback requirements. So we would like to move forward and be able to get a building permit.
Ed, have you had a septic plan review on this one? I don't remember.
We do not have a septic design at this time, no.
Okay.
We have the area that was laid out when we did the perk test
Right.
by Julian Botruba, the engineer. We also, when we had the inspection with Rick and Tony, made a commitment that we would surround the area in question with wattles, so that during construction, if there was any silt or anything like that, that it would not enter the drainage area. And if you wish to make that a condition, we'd be more than glad to do that and have already committed to doing that.
Yeah, so it looks like across the street where the drainage area drains to is wetlands, correct?
Yeah, well, there's a house over there, but it's set back. It's wet over there too. There's like a ditch on that other side running right down Flag
Road.
Road towards Mount Jeff.
Yeah, that looks like all from the mass, all of our maps, looks like wetlands.
Yeah, which runs right down to the river that's down by the Rod and Gun.
There's no wetlands vegetation in the area really at this point from our preliminary view. We don't know, officially where the house and septic will lay out. So I guess Tony and I felt at the time there was nothing that was going to impede them from doing construction, but we need to eventually look at a drawing of where everything is and if there's any wetlands involved.
We provided that that drawing with all of the setback distances from the house and the septic area and the well, which we measured from the boundaries of the property.
Yeah, for us, we'd need the wetlands line on there and then setbacks from the actual wetlands to accompany an NOI.
Yeah, I think the
I think it's-
intent, go ahead.
I think it's preliminary, like without an NOI, there's not much we do at this point.
Right.
Besides unless you're just looking for unofficial guidance.
Well, that's
that
right.
We can approve. Yeah.
Right.
So probably, Ed, the next step would be to go ahead and get an engineered septic plan done.
So,
We didn't see anything that would stop you from going ahead, Ed.
okay, I guess I don't understand everything, but we don't need to do a formal septic design at this time to move forward with a building permit, and certainly part of that would be the septic design.
Right. You need an approved septic before we can issue a building permit.
Before he got a building permit, correct? So what would the board wish me to do further?
Well, the standard procedure would be to get a plan done, however preliminary, but a plan that shows wetlands delineation, septic design, and that sort of thing, so that you can really understand if the setbacks are made. We don't care so much about the setback, so we care about the wetlands, obviously. Is there a problem? It didn't appear to be a problem with the wetlands, but we're not really the experts, shall we say. So normally that comes forward on a plan that we can look at, and someone has signed off on this plan, that some engineer has signed off on the plan that's, says that this is what it is. And we agree or disagree, but mostly, the PE that does it.
We submitted the plan by Julian Votruba, which shows from his engineering standpoint the setbacks to the drainage area.
Okay, I guess I don't have that plan then, sorry. I have a sketch that,
Yeah, we haven't gotten a full set of plans yet. So the plans would come on a big sheets of paper.
I have a sketch that maybe you and Mr. Aho did potentially.
correct? Those are true measurements from the boundaries.
But is the boundary of that drainage area delineated by a wetlands scientist, or just that's what we're kind of missing, the wetlands boundary?
I think Julian Votruba, when he did the perk test, showed those boundaries, but
No, we just
You
got
do-
that. We didn't get any drawings that came back with the perk test or any plans. It just has the perk test data and the rates on it. We haven't gotten a set of plans yet, because usually the perk test data will dictate what type of system needs to go into the ground,
right.
and we haven't gotten that yet on the Board of Health side.
So, I mean, conceptually, it looks like it should move forward, but we don't know, we don't have any, you know, signed off measurements or wetlands delineation to look at this point. We can say that, you know, it seems fine to us, but we can't, based on that, check off any boxes for the building permit.
Okay, in order to do that, then what would you suggest I do?
Well, normally we get a plan signed by a PE that shows the house siting, the well, et cetera, the wetlands delineation, the basic stuff that's something to go forward with and get your building permit. We approve that or review that and approve it.
All right, so that's by a wetlands engineer?
That would have to be done, yes.
All right, well, I guess if that's what we need to do, we'll move forward with that. Do you know if Julian Votruba is a wetlands engineer as well? I think he might be, but I don't know that.
From my understanding, Julian's firm has a wetlands scientist on it. Julian himself is not, but he has staff that is.
Okay. So then we've staked out the septic area, we've staked out where the house and that will be located. So we have to have a wetlands engineer go in and look at the drainage area?
Yes.
Okay.
Tom, do you have anything else to add, Tom or Kayla, to my assessment there of yes, we need it?
I think I need a better internet service.
Yeah.
Yeah, typically what I was trying to say is typically we have a septic design that's approved. So if any of that moves during that process, we know exactly what we're looking at. If it moves, you know, directionally, we know that. If it moves elevation, if there's height, if there's slope grades involved, if it shows, you know, where the water is shedding to. We typically have that, especially so we know where to put silt fence and hay bales, that type of thing. That's all.
So in order to move forward for my sale of this lot to Mr. Aho, we'd have to get a septic design, and after that, after the wetlands engineer gives you his mapping, then where do we go from there? I just want to be able to touch all the bases.
I think that covers it.
At that point, we could sign off on the building permit and get a building permit. If Mr. Aho is looking, he doesn't want to buy the lot until he can be assured that he can get a building permit. That's what would have to be done. Otherwise, there's some risk involved potentially if there's not a building permit, I suppose, from Mr. Aho's standpoint.
Is this a buildable lot? Because it's under 2 acres.
Yeah, the zoning enforcement officer deemed it buildable
Okay.
and grandfathered.
that's a good question, but I understand it's grandfather lot.
Okay.
Yes, we submitted that to the building inspector and gave him all of the past documentation, and he has reviewed that. And I have a copy of the letter from him stating that it is a grandfathered lot. I think Mallory has that letter. Do you have that letter, Mallory, from the building inspector?
I'm sorry, you cut out, but I do still have the letter I can forward, and that would be part of your building.
Right, I was just saying that the building inspector has reviewed all of the past documentation that it is a grandfathered lot.
Yep.
Yeah,
I just
that's
didn't
fine.
want you to go through it all and then find out it wasn't a buildable lot because it was under 2 acres, but that's fine.
Thanks, Rick. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's not certain if the wetlands only start on the other side of Flag Road and you'd be outside of the buffer, or if that drainage area is actually wetlands.
Yeah, I'm
Put a
thinking
septic within 50 feet of the.
I'm thinking from seeing that in the past years and stuff like that, that drainage area is going to be wetlands. But
Well, given the inspection by Tony and Rick, they didn't see any wetland species, but we'll get that
Right.
clarified. Also, what also makes a big difference is that they lowered the culvert. The culvert was higher, which created a situation where that drainage area wouldn't properly drain. So they've lowered the culvert so that drainage area would move across Flag Road.
That should make a bit improvement there. I mean, it looks like it's basically pools up because it can't get out of the culvert.
yeah,
All right, so I will see if Mr. Aho wants to move forward with a septic design and a wetlands engineer, and we go from there. After that, is it required for a notice of intent, or is that based upon whether there's wetlands involved?
It's the latter, Ed.
Right. It'd either be an RDA if the wetlands are not involved, or an NOI if they are.
If the wetlands aren't involved, it would still require a notice of intent?
No, an request for determination of applicability.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
All right, next order of business, old business update of 20 West Common Pond. The ongoing saga of 20 West Common Pond. Let's see. I guess at this point, I kind of don't know where to start. We have a plan that was produced by Edith Morgan that the DCR looked at and approved. And where we go from here is I'm not sure, or I'm not sure what will happen or how we can close this out or do anything where, further on it.
It seems like there's been activity since our last meeting altogether. Is there a good summary of what's happened and what the current status is?
Spoke with
I don't know.
Alan at DCR earlier this week, so yesterday, and he advised that the stockpile has been removed, but that was really the only update he was able to give me.
Is the plan that was done by Edith Morgan and approved with one, approved basically from DCR. I don't know if the Mitchells have approved or agree with that plan or not. I think maybe perhaps one, but maybe not the other, or maybe both have by this time. Edith, do you have anything to add about that?
Hello, this is Edie Morgan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yes, it was a week ago, Sunday, that we had the work done. We were, Don Mitchell gave us the signed permission to, he said that he and Sue had agreed that we could remove the stockpile. So my contractors came down and removed the stockpile and used that pile to improve the upper driveway from this Mitchell parking pad up to the west end of the driveway coming in from the road to reinforce the proper pitch for that driveway according to DCR recommendations. It had been done 25 years ago, but it was, in need of being, should I say, shored up and make sure that it's in the right, running so that the water runs off the driveway in the proper manner into the undisturbed area. So when the parking pad was done, when the material was removed from that, they brought in a roller and they compacted the Mitchell parking area so that it would be convenient and as good material that is not too prone to erosion. We did discuss with the Mitchells that we put some riprap around that, and I'm very much in accord with doing that. I have no problem with that. And Sue did at that time say that she preferred the large riprap rather than the small riprap that you see alongside of this road. So they're very large stones, I would say, maybe 2 by 3 in diameter, flat stones. And we are willing to do that. And then I said, as you know, submitted Plan A and B, and so Plan A is the one that would now be in contention because the parking area seems to be accepted. Sue Mitchell said to one of the contractors that she liked the parking pad, the way it was done. And that was one of the contractors reported that message to me. So now we are waiting for both her and Sue, for Sue and Don to sign off so that we can pull back the rest of the material and do it in accordance with the DCR recommendations. And I think you have a copy of that plan that was taken off of our original plan. We did one plan with a wall, and that was not acceptable. We thought that was what Sue was looking for. We did an engineered plan that was not acceptable to her, so we came back with Plan B, trying to address her desires. And so that's what we presented. DCR accepted it, and that's where we are right now. It's as much as I can do. It's under DCR jurisdiction. I think any plan that's presented has to go through the DCR, as I understand it, and it would have to be, you know, in accordance with what they think is acceptable.
Thank you.
If you have any other questions for me.
So we believe the remediation or the repairs are being conducted, or is there some concern that it's not moving forward?
It's not moving forward because the Mitchells, but we need both Mitchells to be legal to sign off on that approved DCR plan so that we can enter on the property where we need to in order to do the remediation to this DCR does demand. I had said that we would do the loam and seed with a native mix. DCR, we said that we could reseed with either a native mix or just a rye. But I would prefer, I think it would be more appropriate to do a native mix. And but I have not received the go-ahead for us to do that because there would be some my agents, contractors would have to enter upon a property to do some phases of this project. This is remediation, and Sue will not join Dawn. I understand that Dawn is willing to sign off on this, but apparently Sue has not. And so we can't move forward. We can't enter her property without her permission. And that's the holdup. I'm happy to go. I wanted to do it like 3 months ago, but I'm happy to do it as soon as we get approval.
All right, I'm not sure what the Concon can do for you or the project at this point.
Well, I don't know what they could do either. I mean, it's up to. I mean, I can't enter the property. My agents can't enter the property if the police is going to be called on us for trespassing. So I would like to do this. I explained it carefully to Don what the procedure would be. My agents would enter my property from my side, pull back the material, and as soon as they pull back the material, S&M Farms would put down the silt fence, and that would be followed by riprap on my side of the boundary. But then we have to enter upon her side, the Mitchell side, to perhaps spread in some new loam where needed and put in the seeding. And that's all there is to it. But that would be the process to be as minimally invasive as possible. And the silt fence would stay up there until everything is definitely stabilized. And in that process, we could also put the large stones around the new parking pad that we provided for the Mitchells, so that they could be certain that their driveway, their parking pad would be secure and not prone to erosion.
Sounds reasonable so far.
I'm trying to be as responsible as possible. I'm definitely conservation minded. I'm a plant person as a former florist, and my daughter is a graduate in ornamental horticulture. My family is all very, what should I say, conservation minded. And I swim every day. I'm still swimming. Swam a couple of days ago, still in the pond. So, you know, the water is very important to me. Do you have any other suggestions that I can do?
I don't have any suggestions.
Hello?
Hello, Sue.
We can hear.
Yeah, can you unmute me?
Can you unmute Mr. Anastasi?
You're both unmuted, and it sounds like we're getting an echo from the two of you.
The only way we're getting on.
Are you guys in the same room? One of you needs to unmute. There we go.
So it looks like Sue is unmuted. Let's see if we can hear you. It sounds distant, but we can hear you.
Back to this plan that Ms. Morgan is referring to. We do not have a copy of that plan. So therefore, I think
It's a little hard to hear you.
No.
Okay.
I emailed the copy to his secretary a couple of weeks ago with the same time that I sent you a copy, Mallory.
Yeah, we were all on it together.
Yes.
And I got my copy just fine.
And Don did not get a copy, so I hand delivered him a copy. I don't know, 10 days ago. Not sure exactly when.
Just the original plan or the one with the Plan A and Plan B markups?
Both Plan A and B. But I assume that Plan B is out of contention and Plan A is where they're going because they're accepting the parking pad.
Hello?
Hi, Sue.
Plan marked Plan B is the full plan.
Plan B removes the parking pad, which is not in contention anymore because you have accepted the parking pad. So Plan A is what is on the table now that remains to be done as soon as you can sign off on those plans. You and Don both need to sign off on the plans
What's the
because
documentation that needs to be signed off now?
they need to sign off that that they accept that plan and allow me to enter upon their property or my agents in order to do the remedial work.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I sent through your clerk
a proposed set of orders of condition for your consideration. And from the very beginning, all my client has wanted is for her property to be restored because of the improper trespass by Ms. Morgan. We're not interested in DCR. We're not interested in any of that. All we want is the gravel removed. She's not interested in having a lawn. She's interested to have the species that were there replaced. That's it. As far as the parking pad, she could seat it on the parking pad, provided the large boulders are placed and a proper erosion control is installed, and that she be responsible for any erosion that may occur.
Edith is responsible.
Not my client. Edith is responsible for any erosion that occurs thereafter, not my client. She didn't cause this problem. Ms. Morgan caused this problem. Now, Ms. Morgan keeps talking about signing off. I've got notes. I've got portions of plans. I have nothing from DCR, except it appears that someone wrote up some notes. I don't know where those came from. If I saw something from DCR, I could weigh in. If I saw the full plan, I could weigh in. I don't have any of that. And it seems like we're under constant delay. I'd like to footnote for the chairman. That is, I'm sure the commission recalls, Ms. Morgan was quite emphatic that she was going to comply with the statute and record the notice of conditions. To this date, it has not been recorded. Therefore, the Conservation Commission should have long since issued an enforcement order and a cease and desist order until that minimal act is complied with. So Ms. Morgan wants to get me something directly from DCR, wants to get me a copy of the full plan. I'll consult with my client.
I just want a date.
And we also want a date by which this work is going to start.
This month. May I say, John, that I can't give you a date when the work will be done until you sign off, or until your client and Mr. Mitchell sign off to allow me to enter upon your property. I sent you the plan. I sent you, first of all, the first engineered plan. And
I want a document from DCR and a full
I also
plan.
sent you a copy of my letter from the DCR.
I have notes.
So if your secretary is not giving them to you, I don't know what. I tried to send them to you directly also, but it would not go through. So I just sent it to the secretary, and I think I sent it twice just to make sure she got it.
It was on DCR letterhead?
I believe it's, yes. Well, no, it isn't. It was on the email.
No, I want something from
Email
DCR.
is supposed to be a legal document, by the way.
I want something from, I'm not going to argue with this lady. My client has other remedies that she can pursue. We don't need to pursue it through the Conservation Commission. And she can pursue it through the Superior Court, but we've been trying to avoid that. So unless we get some cooperation from Ms. Morgan, that's where we are heading.
John, your client is the one who's not cooperating. You have to go, the DCR has to approve whatever is done there. That's under DCR jurisdiction.
For the last time, Ms. Morgan, get me documents directly from DCR on DCR letterhead with a full plan, and I will weigh in on it. I want it. I'm requesting it. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I'm requesting it no later than week's end. Otherwise, we'll take alternate action. That's all I have to say for this evening, gentlemen and madam.
Well, you're good at threats, but
I'm
not
not threatening
action.
anything. When I promise to do something, I do something. Last thing I would say to the commission is, there should be an enforcement order and a cease and desist, since obviously there was not an accurate representation by Ms. Morgan with respect to recording the plan. But that's up to you, folks. That's not up to me.
The last meeting we had on September 1st or whatever, that was to be done immediately. That has not been done.
I was waiting for a sign off on it.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Tony's. I guess Edith had a copy. The original document with the original signatures was lost, so we were recreating that for her, and Tony hasn't come in yet.
I wonder why my phone doesn't work with this.
So I guess,
So do we have documentation from the DCR we can forward?
I don't think we've gotten official documentation. We haven't gotten anything in the mail that says a plan is approved or that we're moving forward with this plan versus A or B yet, but I can follow up with Alan tomorrow and see if he has something he can provide to us. Everything I have is just via email communication with Alan.
Okay, if he can do that.
I'm
then
sure
we
he'd be
can
willing,
forward
yeah.
that. And it sounds like the reason it's not recorded is that's on us, because Tony hasn't been able to make it in.
Right, yeah.
Obviously, with his age and Corona, that may be part of that.
the only signature you lack on that order of conditions, the rejuvenation of the order of conditions or whatever, is Tony's signature, I believe, right, Mallory?
Yeah, just Tony's.
That because we needed the same original signatures as last time.
Yeah. So we have our document from when it was recorded or when we issued that order of conditions, and then the original goes to the applicant. So when you go to file at the Registry of Deeds, you need original signatures, not copies. And somewhere along the line, the original was misplaced. So we're just recreating it with original signatures. So I think from here on out, standard practice will be that we sign more than one and an original signature stays in our copy as well as hand it to the applicant.
All right, well, we could certainly call Tony and get him to get up to town in some fashion. But doesn't really make the project move any faster, you know.
And I'll follow up with Alan in the morning too to see if we can't get something on DCR letterhead.
Is there anything else you're looking for, John?
No, I'm just looking for the original, not the original, a copy of the full plan, not pieces of it. And I'm looking for the letter from DCR setting forth what is expected of Ms. Morgan and a date on which work will start once the Mitchells have approved the plan from DCR. Those are the three things I'm looking for.
All right, so Mallory, that sounds like that's something we can get done, correct?
We can definitely do that, yeah. I think we need to be careful because we're acting as a middleman right here. So I can request them, but at least a letter to see what we can get moving for the Mitchells and for Edith.
Or one of
is there some way we can provide an update on status by the middle of next week, for instance? Mallory, could you send a note out to everyone?
Yeah,
where-
I'll send everything as soon as I get it out so that you guys are updated as soon as I am.
And anytime you need me to pick up that signed copy, we'll be happy to take it down to the registry right away.
I don't know. Said, we get what we get. We don't get what we put out. We proceed as we said, that's all.
Is there any additional input for this discussion?
I would like to say, I will move as quickly as I possibly can. But time is of the essence, so I'm hoping that my neighbors will be able to sign off as quickly as possible. So if this drags on into the bad winter season, then I would not be able to give any timeline as to when the project would be done. And I hope everybody can understand that, because this all started in July, the beginning of July, and here it is, we're into October, and we don't have much time to get this done, get the remedial work done, so that we can have a successful remedial plan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other business that we need to conduct tonight? Forest cuttings, business, mail?
I haven't gotten anything good in.
Does any of the board members have any points of interest or discussion points or concerns?
Three things.
The conditions of DCR. I've asked for the full plan from them.
Sue, you're still on
Something else?
mute.
All right.
Maybe John could explain to me what he means by a full plan. I have the original plan that has all the elevations and everything on it. And then the second one, when I plan A and B, that was just drawn off of the original plan, just for the area of concern only, not the whole full plan. You know, that includes the whole property that is not necessarily part of this particular discussion.
Yeah, but I'm guessing he was just concerned that it looks like they're no longer on the call, but that he was concerned that that was just a markup and not the full drawing.
Yeah, it was not the full drawing, which I had presented before, but I don't know that they have a copy of that.
I would say the correct plan would be the one that DCR approved.
All right, and that is just for the area.
Right.
And the DCR does not demand or request the full engineered plan, although they do have a copy of that, of the original plan. I think that the Concom also has a copy of that.
So in the interest of moving this, keeping this moving forward, do we understand what we're submitting or reviewing here, Mallory?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna shoot that email off right after we log out.
Okay, very good. Any other business? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second that.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all for participating.